Jericho means city of palms, and it sits in a green fertile oasis at the lowest inhabited spot on earth, 1,300 feet below sea level. It also enjoys the distinction of being the oldest continuously inhabited city on earth, dating back some 10,000 years. Here Jesus healed Bartimaeus, the blind beggar, and dined with Zacchaeus, the rich tax collector, who climbed up a sycamore tree to get a better view. Jesus often passed through it when traveling from Galilee to Jerusalem along the Jordan Valley. The secret of the town's prosperity lies hidden near the huge mound of old Jericho, Elisha's spring. The ancient town was built on the hill opposite the spring known today as Ain Sultan. This vast supply of underground water is still vital to the agriculture of the whole region, famous for its bananas, dates, pomegranates, and oranges. The Dead Sea lies south of Jericho at the lowest point on earth and fills a natural basin created by the Great Rift Valley, extending down through Africa. It is fed by water sources from the mountains of Lebanon and from the hills that border both sides of the sea. Its depth varies from 130 feet in the northern part to 30 feet in the south. The Dead Sea is 10 times saltier than the Mediterranean, and because no fish can survive in it, has earned its name from this fact. The Gospel of John sees Jesus pierced on the cross as the fulfillment of Ezekiel's symbolic vision of water flowing from the right side of the temple down to the Dead Sea to purify it. West of the Dead Sea, at the edge of the Judean desert, lies Qumran, where a religious community called the Essenes once lived. They were waiting for God to end the Roman occupation and to establish his kingdom of justice and peace. When the Romans closed in on them in AD 68, they hid their precious writings in the caves nearby. The Dead Sea Scrolls made headlines in 1947 as the greatest archaeological discovery of modern times. The scrolls shed fascinating light on one of 3 first-century Jewish sects mentioned by Josephus. The Essenes seem to have had most in common with the early Christians. Curiously, they are never mentioned anywhere in the New Testament. It was at this time that Jesus came from Nazareth in Galilee and was baptized in the Jordan by John. And at once, as he was coming up out of the water, he saw the heavens torn apart and the Spirit like a dove descending on him. And a voice came from heaven, "You are my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Here, like a new Joshua crossing the river Jordan, Jesus begins a new exodus into the kingdom of heaven, symbolized by the Promised Land. This is Epiphany, or the manifestation of Jesus as Messiah and Son of God. By his baptism, Jesus accepts and inaugurates his mission as God's suffering servant, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. In the mystery of our baptism, his story becomes our story as we receive his Spirit to live within us. After his baptism, Jesus was led by the Spirit out into the desert to be put to the test by the devil. Here on this mountain to the west of Jericho, called the Mount of the 40, Karantal in Arabic, is a Greek Orthodox monastery whose foundations contained a cave where Jesus fasted for 40 days. Here the new Adam triumphed over the tempter where Adam had failed. Here Jesus, the new Israel, was victorious where Israel in the desert had succumbed to temptation. For we have not a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tested as we are, yet without sinning. Hebrews 4:15. The 40 days of Lent reminds us each year of the mystery of Jesus in the desert.